Hey guys, so for today's video, we're going to be talking about the best drugstore foundations. I'm super excited to do this video because I don't know what it is. I have like this thing for drugstore products. I think it's like the inner cheap girl inside of me that wants to find like these drugstore gems for such an affordable price. So I have kind of gathered my top favorite drugstore foundations. I do want to mention I didn't want this video to be like just throwing in all of my favorite drugstore foundations. I wanted this video to be specifically like the best, like my top favorite. So I do have a couple other drugstore foundations that I do really love, but I really narrowed it down. I was kind of strict for this video and I only wanted this to be like holy grail favorite drugstore foundations. So I have 5 drugstore foundations to share with you guys. The first one I want to mention to you guys is actually $6. $6, like no joke. And what's funny is the cheapest out of all the one I'm going to show you guys is actually my favorite. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation and I have mine in the shade Desert Beige. You guys, I'm not kidding you. This has quickly become my holy grail favorite foundation out of all of my foundations. Like this isn't even just good for drugstore or like, oh, it's good for a $6 foundation. No, it's good like for like this could be $100 and I'm not kidding you guys, I would buy it. It is that good. The way that I describe this foundation is Photoshop in a bottle. It literally looks like you have live Photoshop smoothing your face at all times when you're wearing this. It is so airbrushed and smooth. It looks incredible on the skin. Another thing I love about this is that it is full coverage. So you're not sacrificing on the coverage. You don't have to do 2 layers or pile it on. You can flawlessly and very easily achieve a full coverage base with this foundation. They have a lot of great different colors and shades. I hope they release more because I feel like they could expand it since so many people do love this foundation, but they do have a pretty good shade range. I also love, like, shout out to Wet n Wild for this. I love how they describe the shades. So for example, this one says Desert Beige and right underneath it says medium dark warm. So they tell you what shade range it is and then what tone it is. I feel like it just kind of makes it easier for beginners who are popping in at the drugstore and they're like, okay, I know I'm cool toned. So they'll go to it and they'll be like, okay, cool, you know, and they know like what shades will fit under their tone. I feel like that's easier for anyone who's a beginner because it might be kind of hard to spot at first, like which one's cool, which one's warm, which one's neutral. So I just love how a drugstore brand, Wet n Wild, is so affordable and they still took the time to like include that extra little detail because even a lot of high-end brands don't do that. So again, I just love how it says medium dark warm. It makes it so easy. Another thing I love about this foundation is it is so long wearing. Like it's absolutely mind-blowing. I will never forget when I gave this like a full 12-hour wear test on my own. I didn't film it, I wish I did, but actually I Snapchatted it, so some of you guys might remember, but I put this on at 10 a.m. I did a bunch of things that day. I also went to get my nails done. By the time I came home, it was 10:30, I believe, so it had been 12 and a half hours. This still looked flawless. Like my makeup looked as if I just applied it. Like it's mind-blowing. It lasts so long, especially on my T-zone where I do get very oily. It still lasts very long. I only get a little tiny bit of oiliness around the nose with this, which is kind of typical. Other than that, like I feel like you don't even really need to blot that much with this foundation. It is so amazing. Moving on, I want to mention 2 Maybelline foundations that I absolutely love. The first one is the Maybelline Matte and Poreless foundation. This is just such a great option. It's so matte. This actually gives you more of like a powdered matte finish. It dries super quickly. That's the only bad thing I have to say about it. Also, the only bad thing I have to say about the Wet n Wild one is that it does smell like paint, unfortunately. It's a pretty faint paint. Like it's not like intense, but it does smell like paint. But the Maybelline one, it dries very quickly. So I kind of have to do it on half of my face and then the other half. That's the only thing I dislike about it. Other than that, it's so powder matte, so it looks very flawless on the skin. You get great coverage out of this, like a really nice full coverage. It can be super full if you just put a little bit more on, but it's a nice like medium to full, closer to the fuller end scale. Great lasting on the skin, like it lasts really nicely. It's just a really great option and they do have really nice shade ranges as well. I also really love the Hydrate and Smooth. So they have the matte and poreless for oily skin and then the Hydrate and Smooth for dewy skin. Really, I mean, you can intertwine and work with it and see which you like better. But pretty much this is the Hydrate and Smooth formula. So this formula is pretty dewy. This actually reminds me a lot of the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk foundation. I would say this is more dewy than the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, but this does give you such a nice, like, healthy, luminous look to the skin. So next I want to talk about two L'Oreal foundations. The first one is the L'Oreal True Match. This foundation is so good. I have loved this for years, and I forgot how much I loved it, and then I used it a couple, like maybe a month or two ago, and I've fallen back in love with it. Like, it falls into the same family of the Hydrate and Smooth and the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. This one is just a bit runnier, a bit more liquidy, a bit runnier of a formula than the Giorgio Armani and the Maybelline one, but definitely this is more dewy than the Giorgio Armani. I just love it though. It looks so incredibly healthy and alive on the skin. It also blends out very beautifully, very flawless, very easy. This is actually my go-to foundation on like a quick day. Like, if I'm going out quickly, I don't want to think about what makeup I'm doing, but I still want to kind of put a little bit of makeup on, this is the one I go to because it's so effortless and easy. They have a great shade range as well. They also do warm, cool, and neutrals. I will also leave the shades in all of the foundations I have down below, because I know that helps you guys kind of choose your own shade as like a reference and comparison. So yeah, I love this foundation. It's my go-to kind of quick, easy, thoughtless foundation that takes very minimal effort. The only thing is it does not last long. I would say I get a good 4 to 5 hour wear out of this before it does start to separate. But again, I just use it on days that I just want, like, that I don't really need a long-lasting foundation. If I do need a long-lasting foundation, I don't go for this. Last foundation I want to talk about is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. I love this. This gives you a really nice natural matte finish. It also has more of a moussey texture. I would say that's a really good difference to point out too. This is a very like whipped moussey texture, almost. Not completely whipped and moussey, almost like 60% whipped and moussey, 40% has a little bit of that liquidy to it. Also a pretty great shade range in this foundation if you have a very yellow skin tone. I feel like that's notable to mention. Like, for me, I'm warm with my self tan, but there's some foundations that are too warm for me, like overly yellow. I wish it was a tiny bit less yellow, but it can still pull it off. If you are incredibly yellow and you like a very deep, rich, golden yellow foundation, there's so many shades in this range of a bunch of yellow tones. This also does last very long, super long lasting. So that is pretty much it for my favorite drugstore foundations. Please let me know below what your absolute like holy grail drugstore foundation is. I also want to mention that I've really been loving the new CoverGirl Elixir foundation, but I'm still testing that out. So to be fair, I didn't mention it in this video just because I've only tried it 3 or 4 times and I still want to, like, you know, really try it. Yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Mwah.